Now, it's been more than a century since treasures were looted by British soldiers from Ghana. Many of them hold huge cultural and spiritual significance. Now, in a landmark agreement, the Victoria and Albert and British museums in London are returning them on loan to the Asante King.
More than 150 years after they were stolen in violent circumstances by British soldiers, two top UK museums are returning some of Ghana's crown jewels. The British Museum and London's Victoria and Albert Museum announced on Thursday that 32 gold and silver artifacts from Ghana, which were looted during the Anglo-Asante Wars in the 1800s, would return to the country for the first time in 150 years. The items are being loaned rather than given back. I am confused as to what they mean by this, because why would I accept something of mine that you stole and have now decided to loan back to me?
Ghana is the owner of these artifacts. You cannot loan to the owner what you stole.
Now let's look at the definition of the word loan and lend. A loan is a thing that is borrowed, especially a sum of money that is expected to be paid back with interest. Now, to lend, on the other hand, means to lend a sum of money or an item of property. Why won't the British Museum return artifacts they stole? Won't this mean that the acceptance of these artifacts as loan may imply acceptance of UK's ownership of these artifacts? Now, let's look at the key facts surrounding this case. The artifacts includes 17 items from the Victoria and Albert Museum and 15 items from the British Museum, including dozens of gold items looted while the British Army raided the Asante Royal Palace that were auctioned off to the museum in April 1874. Now, the loan items will be displayed as part of the Silver Jubilee of the Asante on 24 Osei Tutu II, the ceremonial king of the Ashanti people. However, the exhibition will not permanently remain in Ghana. The pieces are only on loan for 3 years and will then return to the UK in 2027. And that's because of a certain UK law that bans national museums from de-aggressioning items in their collections.
Oh, now tell me, so the idea, a 3-year loan of these Ghanaian royal treasures, is this a model, a useful model for future deals to you?
Look, it also demonstrates the height of colonial mentality that the British government in 2024, we have laws in place that allows the British government to bar these museums from giving back goods and artifacts that were stolen.
So under a British law, passed specifically to allow institutions to retain looted, stolen and otherwise misappropriated items, the people in charge of the museums are forbidden from returning almost anything to its land of origin, and in this instance, Ghana.
Ghana is the owner of these artifacts. You cannot loan to the owner what you stole.
The British Museums Act of 1963 bans the museums from removing an artifact from its collection unless it is a duplicate, is damaged, or is deemed unfit for the collection. Secondly, the National Heritage Act of 1983 prevents the Victoria and Albert Museum from legally returning the artifacts as well. The Act forbids the British Museums and the Natural History Museum from disposing of their holdings except in a small number of special circumstances. Now, can you imagine? I steal from you, and then I tell you, I'm going to loan you the car I stole from you. What law in the world would protect me, the thief? Well, unless I create a law to protect myself. Let's look at another example. Greece. The museum holds about 15 metopes, 17 pedimetal figures, and a 247-foot section of decorative frieze, all of which are believed to have been crafted between 447 and 432 BC. These artifacts were removed by Lord Elgin, a British ambassador to the Ottoman Empire, and since governing Greece in the early 19th century between 1801 and 1805, and then were subsequently shipped to Britain. His actions were investigated by a parliamentary selected committee in 1816, which ruled that he had committed no wrong, but consigned the antiquities to the museum in the best interest of their conservation. Can you imagine? I steal something. I investigate myself. then I create laws that protect those stolen goods.
I mean, just think this through. The purpose of the law when it comes to theft is to punish the perpetrator and put the victim in the position they would have been in had their goods not been stolen. But these laws are doing the very opposite.
Now, one of the most insulting reasons that they've given is that the other countries that these items belong to would either not be able to take care of them or they are likely to be stolen. Now, in an interesting and surprising twist, it follows the revelation that as many as 2,000 items from the museum collection had been found to be missing, stolen, or damaged. The irony of it all, the British Museum having artifacts stolen from them. The arguments against repatriation, most frequently deployed by museums and collectors which hold objects they don't want to lose, are if all the museums are to return objects to their countries of origin, a lot of museums will be nearly empty. See, I do understand. I understand the British and other Western countries' predicaments and why they won't want to return these artifacts. And if they are to return to their homes of origin, what remains in these museums? I guess it will be nothing of interest. What are your thoughts on the UK returning the artifacts to Ghana in a 3-year loan agreement? Please feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye.